Hi, this is Sean Perry with VintageRock.com. We're sitting here with legendary producer Andy Johns. How you doing today, Andy?
Well, I'm happy to be here at the NAMM show, and I'm happy to endorse Albion because there are some very good products. I can't wait to talk to the guy that designs the stuff because I got a couple ideas. But I'll tell you what, I've been using the bass rig big time, and I've been using the, I suppose, 100-watt thing a few times, but I really like the combo with the 112. It's just absolutely sweet, and it's not expensive, and it sings, and it's great. And I might maybe introduce myself to you folks. You know, I've been doing this since 1967. I started off with Jimi Hendrix as an assistant engineer to Eddie Kramer, and then all of a sudden I'm producing Free and Jethro Tull, and then I did a lot of work with the Rolling Stones, and then it went on and on and on. And Led Zeppelin, I did, you know, Stairway to Heaven and all that, just
Yes,
so
you
you
did.
know I'm not some sort of phony. And Van Halen I produced and whatever, so that's sort of a track record. But I've done 202 projects. But I really like Albion. I think it's, especially for the price, it's a very good deal. It really is. And that's about as much as I can say unless you ask me another question.
Okay, well, I want to make it short and brief. Just want to ask you something. Of course, you did mention you worked with the Rolling Stones. You worked on Exile on Main Street. They had a big reissue campaign last year.
Worked on it. I did the whole damn record. And it went straight to #1 when it was released. And
Right.
Keith even sent me a copy of his book in honor of it. But he also said -10 because he thinks I still owe him 10 grand. Thanks, Keith. You don't forget anything.
Well, I mean, when you look back at those days, there must be something that sticks out. One great memory about those
Well,
sections.
I'll tell you what sticks out is the fact when I was 21 years old,
Right.
I'm in the south of France. Keith rents me a villa, and I remember the name of the villa, Villa Scutiti, on the Mediterranean. I'm getting paid loads of cash. I'm still gorgeous. I'm not ugly and unsylph-like yet. And there's everything you could ever want from rock and roll is right there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The two things, this and that. And I was, because I'd grown up being huge fans of the Rolling Stones since I was about 11 or 12, before they even had a deal, because my brother used to work with them.
Right.
So I was having the time of my life.
I can imagine.
It was just a gas. The funny thing was, though, we were working in the basement, and the Gestapo had this house as the headquarters for the Gestapo. And I run out the truck one day, and I just happened to notice that the heating vents are the shape of, well, they were swastikas. And I went, Keith, what is this swastika shit in the blue marble? And they were gold, solid gold. Oh, I forgot to tell you. This was the headquarters of the Gestapo in the last war. But it's all right, we're here now.
Well, of course, another seminal record you worked on around that time was Led Zeppelin 4. What are your memories of that?
Well, that I had screwed up a little bit because I wanted to see this schoolboy's dream girl in LA. Plus, you know, I've been hearing all this great stuff coming out of Sunset Sound, and we went there and they changed the room. So it was a bit of a waste of time. We only used levee brakes. Went back to England, and Pagey should have fired me. He really should have fired me, but he didn't. So we remixed the record, but by that time, you know, my courage was faltering a little, which affects your psychosomatic vibe deal. But we did it anyway, and it came out pretty well, you know, Stairway to Heaven, Black Dog, levee brakes, not too shabby. 4 Sticks I got wrong. I'm still a bit embarrassed about that one. But that was a hell of a record, but they started to do some weird things, and I went, okay, I'm out of here. With, you know, females and rolling them in glass. And I shouldn't have said that. Delete that.
Well, however, 40 years later, both those records still stand the test of time.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be. I mean, I've got things I did with Jethro Tull in 79. No, I mean 69.
Right.
And I put it on and I go, bloody hell, that's really quite good. Who did that? That was you? I don't recognize you there at all. And some of the free records, like Highway and the live record, I think is pretty good. Those were very seminal times. And then it got a bit dead after I'd done all the Rod Stewart, Do You Think I'm Sexy If You Want Me, which was second person, not first person. Everyone thought it was first person. And it wasn't. But he was waving his bum with the spandex to the audience. And I, hello, Rodney, you shouldn't be doing this. And then it got a bit dead in the early 80s. And I did a record with Glenn Hughes from Deep Purple.
Right.
And Pat Thrall, who is still, to me, one of the greatest guitar players there ever was, but he's very unheard of. And then I did Cinderella. I produced 2 records with them and made a shitload of money. But the first one sounds like I recorded it with a bloody telephone.
Right.
It's not the world's greatest recording, but the arrangements that I did worked out fine. And then I was working with Van Halen with the FUCK, for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge.
Right.
Knowledge starts with a K, you see. And that sold pretty well. I made a few bob out of that.
So you've had a pretty good track record. What's going on now? What are you working on anything now?
Well, I just finished doing this, and I'm so glad about it. Eric Clapton and I did this stuff in 1971 after Layla. And it was my 21st birthday. And he went, so you're 21? And you're at the studio with me? And I went, yes, Eric, of course. Well, then you're the co-producer. That's your birthday present. And I immediately went, ka-ching, the cash register, Mm-hmm. 2 days later, he fires the whole band. So I wouldn't let go. I get Stevie Winwood in and Jim Keltner to come and play. And I never got to clean up my plate, And I got a phone call about 3 months ago, would you like to finish off that work? And some of it is just stunning. It really, really is. So I did that. Everyone's very happy about it. And right now I'm working with this guy called Chris Fields, who does trailers, like for Lord of the Rings and, I don't know, Johnny Depp movies and stuff. But we're doing rock and roll shit. And there's something else. I'm supposed to start working again with Steve Miller because I finished up this Chicago blues record with Steve about this time last year.
Right.
And I've known Steve since I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm supposed to go back to work with him in March. And I got performances out of Steve like he's never had. I mean, the guy's, when he hunches over the guitar and you've given him the right information,
right,
the guy is stunning. Stevie Guitar Miller. Not like Fly Like an Eagle, which quite honestly is a load of rubbish, but others bought it, and who am I to say? But he wrote some wonderful songs, and I also got him to reintroduce this gorgeous song called Seasons back into his set. We're upstairs, the guy has a lot of dough. We're upstairs in one of his bijoux on this 50-acre lot, and I pick up this Martin 12, and where the strap goes on the bottom, it just happened to touch the floor, and I get, Andy, don't you drag my guitar across the floor like that. When Stephen, it just touched it, my God. But seeing as we're here, couldn't you just play a little bit of Seasons? Well, I guess so. So he plays a bit of a verse, and I said, do you think it would be possible for you to sing and play? Yeah, I guess so. And it had me undone, and I had to look out these huge windows and pretend to be looking at the trees because I was totally undone. It's been wrapped up around my heart for years and years and years, and I had to pretend. Oh no, it's the air conditioning is making me cry. Oh, ow.
Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate you talking with us today, Andy, and have a great weekend, and thank you very much. Signing off from Vintage Rock.
Well, okay. I hope you got enough.
All right.